This is the Adelaide Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, Redshaw, and you are watching CCP Podcasting. Make sure you like and subscribe because you do not want to miss what these guys are doing. That's for sure. That's for Red Shaw.
What is happening, friends of CCP Podcasting? Welcome back to Beyond the Bell. I am Chris Page. That is John Cable. Brother, the month of May has surpassed, and we're now about to hit June. And our Beyond the Bells with Georgia has come and gone, and now it's time to go a little international. What are you thinking about where we're headed for the month of June?
I think it was fabulous to be in Georgia for as long as we were and to explore a lot of the work that was going on there. But I am extremely excited to fly ourselves overseas and see some of our international friends in a little place far down under from here.
Yeah, we like I said, we finished with Deion Summers last week out of Georgia. It's interesting that we're going back to Australia here today, and next week as well. We have made some friends across the globe, which is why we say professional wrestling brings people together. I think it's safe to say that after this particular show, I think we might be a little undeniable. 'Cause that's right. We've got Bobby Bishop. What's going on, man? How are you?
Yeah, really good. How you guys going this morning?
Dude, I've been waiting to talk to you since we set this up like 5 weeks ago. You have no idea.
Oh, fantastic.
John?
I love watching you.
Absolutely.
Sorry?
Glad to have you on
Sorry?
the show. Thanks for taking some time out for us. We know that you guys have got a lot going on over there. We've been watching the Australian product for some time now and have been thoroughly impressed.
Thanks. So, yeah, we seem to be very hidden to the world with our what level we're at with wrestling here, eh?
You were to us until we stumbled into Riot and opened up our eyes to what was going on around the world, and since then we have expanded our horizon to many countries and have checked out a lot of product going on around the world. And there's something that we've noticed in all the time that we've been looking at international product, and that's that the indie class is no longer the garage shows and the backyard bits. It is evolved into its own mainstream, and there is so much raw talent out there that we just could not fathom not exploring the next big gems in the industry coming out of the indies right now. And you, sir, are one of those, and we're glad to have you on the show.
Thanks. Thank you so much. I couldn't agree with more with how the indie level has risen into more of a mainstream. It's the bubble now. We're all growing with it.
It's eerily similar to, we say all the time, probably every week, it's eerily similar to the old territory days. I mean, I grew up in the 80s, and, you had that territory system, but it's the territory system on crack is what I'm thinking now because
Social
there's
media is a drug to this industry, and it has absolutely expanded the reach of every single fan and worker across the planet.
100%. As much as damage that social media can do, it's actually helped wrestling in another way, a very positive way.
I think the positives from social media are the only the reach that companies can get, the reach that athletes can get, the eyes that you can get on products and experiences is the only reason that social media hasn't already melted down and dissolved, because of all the bad things that come with it. If it weren't
Hmm.
for the positives of being able to reach around the world and have moments like this, the rest of it would have fallen apart long ago.
Absolutely. Actually, a quick little funny story about social media is when I actually activated Twitter for the first time. One of my first tweets was using the power of social media. I realized I can reach anyone in the world, and I'm just going to reach this one person. I tagged Anthony Green,
hmm
and all I said was "Hey, Anthony Green, I love your duffel bag," and he responded with "Thanks, bro." He gave me the thumbs up.
And that is the power of social media, isn't it? Like, you can
Hundred
literally just
percent.
reach one person that you never would have talked to in a million years otherwise.
Yeah. My first words is, "I love your duffel bag." That's all. Have a good day.
Yeah, no, it's first of all, let me do this because we obviously we've chatted with each other over the last several months. We're become a little friendly, if you will, through DMs and online. Go ahead and give the channel a quick introduction. First of all, if you haven't already, guys, the spotlight video has dropped sporadically throughout the week. You didn't know this, Bobby, but I've tried a new concept with the spotlight shows, and instead of just dropping one big show, I chopped it down into
Mhm.
individual matches. So we've had Bobby Bishop week all week on the channel. So if you haven't
Oh,
seen some of his stuff on the channel, I'm gonna need you to go back and take a peek at it. But go ahead and give the guys watching, the gals watching, just a little intro on who you are, where you're located, and a little background on you, and then we'll roll into this thing.
yeah, sure, no problem. So I am undeniable Bobby Bishop. I wrestle in Brisbane, Australia, and Queensland, Australia. Sorry. I've been wrestling for about 10 years. My wrestling style, I would say, is definitely a lot old school wrestling mixed with a bit of comedy, just because I love to make myself laugh and everyone else around me. What else?
I,
You will. Huh?
that's a quick intro. It works.
Yeah.
I know that you have some deep-seated roots when it comes to professional wrestling. I already know the answer to this question, but just for shits and giggles, tell me some of your, as you were, getting into professional wrestling, what made you fall in love with it, and who were some of the guys that you looked at back in the day before you got into the business?
I love Dusty Rhodes. I loved Ric Flair, Roddy Piper. Sorry, Roddy. Um, who else? I was always a huge rock fan. I think I love the wrestlers that were just entertainers, and I feel like the 80s and 90s was just full of them.
I knew that Dusty was going to be on top of that list because
100%.
as we got into Australia, John said with Riot City, one of the other, realistically, a lot of the indie shows, at least on my side, that pop up is,
Mm.
it gives me recommendations based on stuff that I've watched, right? So Pro Wrestling
Mm.
League comes across you should probably watch this. And I, sent it to John
Hey,
and
I
said,
need you guys to tone it down a little.
I need for you to go on mute.
Thought I was my fault.
Oh, it's okay. It'll be taken out. That's why this is not a live stream. So
Yeah.
we stumbled across Pro Wrestling League through Riot City, and legit, the first match that we see you attached to is it's a street fight or a last man standing or something with Rip, and I'll be damned, I saw the bionic elbow and I lost my shit.
Not once, not twice, but I think 3 times, in fact. And every single time he lost his shit about it.
I'm a huge,
Good.
huge Dusty
I
fan.
No, I'm a huge Dusty fan. It's just the fact that I tell this to all the guys all the time why I love Dusty Rhodes is name all Dusty's movesets. Yeah, exactly.
It's a bionic elbow.
It's a bionic elbow. That's all he needs. He
That
just
is,
needs the punch, punch,
that's
punch.
not true though. He has a great repertoire of moves. It's great. It just happens to be that one is very popular and amazing as an
Well, I
act.
mean, tell me something
That's,
else that doesn't involve the elbow. Even his finish, if
yeah.
it wasn't the flip flop and fly, it was a jumping big elbow drop.
I think I was always told that by like trainers no one remembers the moves in the match. They just remember the moments, and if you got a move, it's a moment. That's your moveset.
Facts,
That's
facts.
facts though. That is a smart trainer. Whoever taught you that knows what they're talking about. So just know that.
100%.
Well,
Yeah.
that's where we're gonna head to. When you decided to, get into wrestling, before we get there, at what point in time, we all get bit by the wrestling bug, and
Hmm.
usually it's at a younger age. At what point in time did the wrestling bug bite you that made you want to like seriously consider about getting into training?
It's funny because it took me more than a decade to get into training, but it actually originally bit me when I was a teenager because I've been watching wrestling since I was a kid. Um, my dad just brought up, oh, you should just do wrestling one day, and then it just clicked. My issue was I couldn't find any places around here because I didn't even know if an indie scene existed. And I think I found a magazine that was talking about wrestling in Australia because there was some companies in Melbourne that were going, and they had like a number for Brisbane one, but I realized when I called the number, it was not active anymore, and the magazine I realized was 5 years old when I got it. So yeah. When I was 29, but I was driving to work and I saw this local like bar and it had on the sign free wrestling Saturday, and I must have nearly crashed the car. So when I saw it, I just went to that first show. I asked around, and it's funny when I look back because I still have footage of that show thanks to the promoter. Funny looking back on it and thinking, wow, that really impressed me to get into wrestling because it was not as good as I remembered it being.
John, go ahead and take the lead real quick.
So you go to this first show. How do you get tangled up on a school? How do you go about finding one? Is it just some leads from the show, or how did you get into a school? What was the transition from I went to a bar and saw this show, kind of shit, but when it was fun, to I'm gonna do this? What was the transition like, and how did you get into a school, and what did that look like?
Well, I guess the worst thing was I think when I watched the show, it got about 3/4 through it, and I remember looking at my partner at the time as like, I could do this, and then which is probably the most ignorant attitude about it because as it turned out, I wasn't super athletic like some of the guys, but I think it was after the show. I saw the wrestlers were just commingling at the bar, and I just walked up, introduced myself, and said, I would like to learn wrestling. Where do you guys go to train and stuff like that? They connected me up with. Around the time there was, I think, one school going, and it was like, PCYC. There was no ring. There was more mats just set up and stuff like that. It was at the Gold Coast. It would take me ages to get there, which it's like a 2.5 hour trip if you're stuck in traffic, basically.
Oof.
Yes. So I would go there, but it was high, like once a week. Nice guys, they're still going. They've definitely improved way more since then. But the other training that was close by was the backyards, and then that's pretty much where I ended up going because they had an actual wrestling ring set up in their backyard, and it was. I think my favorite comment from the guy who trained me was just how he was so upfront with what kind of carny he is. He basically said, I do know how to teach, I can show you how to wrestle. I'm going to show you everything I can because I want your money. But once you know everything I know, I'll point you in the right direction where to learn more. But just understand, I'm doing this because I want money from you.
I mean, that honesty is respectable, at least.
You know what? I still talk to the guy this day. Like, it's just because as much as I make jokes all the time, it's like you're a carny, but I respect the fact that you're always upfront about it. And then, like, even when I catch him out trying to like swindle me in something, he's like, you know me.
You're like, that's the problem. I know you.
Yeah, pretty much. Or I'll call him out like when he'll start a swindle and I'll just call it out. I'm like, yeah, I don't think so, mate. Hey, I think you're doing this. And he's like, yeah, okay. And just will walk
And he
off.
just chalks it up. He's like, oh, I tried. It was worth it.
Nah, he's not gonna be mad at me. He knows me. He walks off. I'm just like, I know him.
Well, let me ask you this: how hard is it to? I mean, obviously, it sounds like it was not the easiest task to even find someone to train you. Is it still the case like that down in Australia now, or is that something that has changed a lot over the years? Do you have, reputable places to try and learn the craft now?
Yeah. So essentially what happened was all the guys at the time would fight over who should be running training because realistically everyone who was here hadn't gone off and done anything, and then those who did, like we had Tony Storm who's from here, like Gold Coast. Mark Davis is from here, like all those guys who went off and did things, they never came back because they were just like, oh, this is really successful, I'm going to keep doing this. So what happened was we agreed that we should have a proper school and not have a backyard. And we ended up training at a boxing ring and some kind of boxing gym for a while. And then finally, a shed opened up with a wrestling ring. And then I think Speak Out happened, and a couple of our guys disappeared in that Speak Out COVID era kind of thing. I'm not gonna say mysteriously, but just I think they just had enough. And I ended up purchasing the school and moving it, and it just so happened that Mark Davis was actually stuck here at the time because of COVID. So he was stuck here for 2 years, and he just became our head trainer. And essentially everything he learnt from going over to England, Wrestling of Progress, New Japan, all that sort of stuff, he just brought back with him and just completely reinvented everyone's training, basically. So now he still pops in and here and there, but like we're just basically training still with everything he sends us. We have a guy now who used to wrestle in the England scene as our head trainer. Like we pretty much established the actual proper training ground here, and this is just Queensland. Like Sydney has one of the best training schools, I would dare say, in the world almost. If you guys have checked PWA out, yeah, PWA, RCW, like their school is like legendary as well.
The bosses do a lot of good work down there.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like Chris Basso especially has a lot of respect from me because I was told a long time ago because I was asked like, I'm shocked Basso never made it out of here. And I was always told like he didn't want to. He wanted to stay behind and build something, and I just respect the shit out of that.
Absolutely doing that.
And he is.
100%.
I mean, the Bassos get the nod from WWE when they were down there a couple of months back on their live event. Like that, I was. And what's crazy is we had talked to Angus Dacey literally on Monday or Tuesday, right after that pay-per-view. One of the first things that we talked about was how that one mention probably has done a lot of good for not just Adelaide wrestling down there in Riot City, but the entire country, because it puts the eyes of the world on you, even if it's just for a hot minute. But it'll make someone say, let me look this up. There's got to be something going on down there. And John and I happen to already be on the Australia train, so we already knew that you guys were.
Yeah, we had been in for months by then. We were like, yeah, you guys have been sleeping on it. We've been down here. This is great stuff. You guys are missing it.
And it's not just.
Yeah.
It's not just in one area of Australia, as we're seeing. It's all over the continent. You guys have got a lot of really good shit going on down there, and it's a crying shame that it doesn't get the light that it should. And hopefully we can help shed a little bit of light on that, because you guys, you have us invested. I mean, the stuff, and that's not easy. John, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was to say, John, how many feds are in rotation with us, regardless of what we're doing, that we stop and watch? Not many.
Maybe 3 or 4. Yeah, maybe 3 or 4. Whenever they post shows, like they'll go into rotation automatic on Monday. We're like, oh, dropped a new show from a company we watch. Here we go. But you guys absolutely have all of the major companies doing work around Australia. Your rosters are so talented. You guys have got a bug down there. I don't know if it's in the water or with the gators or with what. I don't know what it is. The kangaroos are carrying it. But you guys are absolutely just infested with fucking amazing talent. And it shows in the product that's coming out of Australia.
Yeah, like I can't remember who it was, but you guys probably know the. There's a wrestler from here called Yeet Stevens. Oh, you probably seen him in Pro League actually. Yeah. Yeet was telling me when he was in the States, because he went there to train at Dustin Reynolds' school. He said like he was on a couple of the American shows there. When he came back, he was like, "You'll be really shocked how many guys on the higher card and the upper cards there are very similar to the guys on all our cards level, basically."
No, 100%. One of the first Riot show that we watched, and it isn't just the roster. You guys are doing something amazing down there that a lot of places wish that they could tap into. You guys are tapping into the fans and telling stories like very few places can really get it together. The writing behind what you guys are doing is amazing. And all of the best companies that are coming out of Australia have this same thing in common. You guys are telling involved stories in a long form fashion that the fans are invested in. And that's what brought us into Riot first, was that we looked at the show and we're like, wait, no, I need to know what happened before this to lead up to these things. I need to know what's going on. I want to be invested in these stories. And that's what got us involved in the Australian scene in the first place. And the rosters kind of move around a little bit. Like you'll see a guy from Riot up north, you'll see a guy over, in the West End, but it's there, and they carry that thing across the continent for you guys. And all of your major promotions, like where you're working down in Riot, down doing the other place, like they're all telling good stories. And that's the thing that I think the indies are really doing well right now. And you guys are a prime example of that.
No, thanks, man. Yeah, so in America, like I know, for example, like you can make money being a wrestler by like you just keep traveling.
You just get booked, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. We can't even make a living out of wrestling here. Like, I could I could have the best luck in the world, and I'd probably only wrestle about 30 times a year, if that. Like, if that number. And even then, it's not paying me much. So everyone's choice is like, well, instead of like trying to like make a living off wrestling, we're just going to try and make our shit look really fucking good. Like, make the visuals of our shows look good, make our move sets, our wrestling look really good. I think that's what sort of reflects, because we're
absolutely nailing it.
We're starving like for like attention with it, sort of thing.
Well, I can understand that 100%. Let me ask you this, and I don't mean to pivot away from where we were at. When you got into, you finished training and all that stuff, where does undeniable Bobby Bishop come in? Where's the character work come in? What made you, kind of roll with the old school mentality with a little bit of comedy?
Well, so when I first debuted, I was actually complete comedy. And the reason I was complete comedy was because I would watch every show and I realized everyone's trying to be the serious indie wrestler. Like, there's nothing standing out. So I did this comedy character. Also, yeah, 100%. And also, too, my ability at the time, because I got rushed into the ring, was not at the level that I thought was acceptable. So I did something to cover it by being more entertaining. The problem was, as I actually got really good, I just kept sticking to that, and I kept sticking to that, and then essentially, a lot of the guys, I guess, around here who were like in better shape than me, wrestled better matches than me, and stuff like that, like more indie-rific sort of stuff. I guess everyone around here viewed that they were destined to go off to like be on PWA or these big, huge shows in other states. So what happened? The undeniable character came from the fact that no, it's you. Sorry. I saw a cat there, so I was like, look behind me, like, fuck. Well, what is that? Well, yeah. So what ended up happening was I ended up getting on all these big shows because I networked. I was traveling all the time. I was training at different schools in different states. Like I'd be broke every week for the whole year at some points. But what ended up happening was I think some of the promoters noticed that my wrestling was getting really good, and they were just on me to change the character, all this sort of stuff. And then I think one of them said a quote to me when I was having a rough time in wrestling, which was work hard, keep your reps up, keep working at everything, and you will be undeniable. And I just thought it was a great little quote to prep me up. And then I was in a rivalry with Rip Riley, believe it or not. It was on our first little clash. Yeah. What I was going by Cult Classic because I thought my original one was Retro Kid, and I moved to Cult Classic. I thought it was a good evolution of it. But what happened was when I was doing this promo, and I was getting really into like sort of method acting into it, and I just randomly said at the end of it is like I said, you and me aren't looking to be. This isn't about who wants to be champ. This is going to be about. And I held the belt up and said, who is undeniable. And then the next promo, I said undeniable again, and then it kept going, and then. Sure enough, I didn't even do this. People started booking me undeniable Bobby Bishop because the word kept coming up.
Love it when you get gifted a moniker, right?
Yeah, and then I looked at it. I was like, "That's not a bad name." And now I think about it.
No, it's marketable. Is what it is. Like
Yeah,
it's
100%. Yeah, that's merch.
Yeah, no, it's weird because one of the people, so I think my character's always been an underdog, and I always thought that was like a peak good level of like this. This sounds like a main event guy, but also it has that underdog sort of style to it still.
I think you know, with the character itself, you have a connection to the crowd.
Mm.
That is, you know, everybody claims to have a connection, but you can tell, you know, we can tell who legitimately has that connection with any crowd that they walk out in front of. And within seconds, usually you're getting a pretty decent pop. So when you talk about the crowd interaction, or you know, what's your mentality like when you're getting ready to walk through that curtain, right? I mean, obviously, if you're touring, you know, wherever you're at, when you're getting ready to walk through that curtain, what's your mentality like? What are you thinking to get the guys and gals up off their feet if they do not already do so, which it's very rare that you walk out to crickets.
So my mentality of it was I figured out a long time ago that the fans. I have a very beefy body and I look really good, but I actually look like a fan in some weird way. And I feel like they that's how they resonate with me. So one of my mentalities before I walk out there is I don't plan anything. I don't plan how I'm going to engage with them. I just if I go out there and just be chill and be myself, they're just going to naturally jump on with me because it's in their brains. It's like this guy is doing what I think I could do as well.
You did something a
Authenticity.
couple of weeks ago that well, as of this recording, it was a couple of weeks ago. By the time the show comes out, it's probably 5 6 weeks at this point. It was a clip of him in a match. You were running around the ring, and I guess you happened to notice someone had a camera and was
Yeah.
filming, and you didn't. And he said, "What was it? Hey, tag me in it." I don't know, it was something like that, and I don't know, for whatever
Uh,
reason, it made me pop so hard.
yeah, I ran up to it and I said, like, hey, tag me, Retro Kid Bobby Bishop. Wait, no, undeniable Bobby Bishop. Then I ran off.
Yeah, it was just like this guy is great.
Well, it's those candid moments that oftentimes go viral, and to be able to recognize, realistically, it might even just be like being self-aware enough to know that you're on camera and get those moments is
Mm.
how you get noticed. Like it's a part of the build. And it's not always something that you can manufacture. Like with this case, you couldn't plan that. I mean, I guess you could have put a plant phone or a whatever, but it was just a spur of the moment. And those are the kinds of things that really take off.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I guess a lot of guys. I mean, they're getting better now, but a lot of guys around here, I try and tell them like you should work on the fly because then you'll just have a lot of fun. And that little moment, 100% is because I'm not freaking out about the next spot. I'm just walking around, chilling, and then I'm like, oh, a phone. I'm just gonna go talk to that phone.
What's
When
I'm sorry.
hold on.
Go ahead.
When in your early career did you find that you were being comfortable enough with the ring and the match to really just let go? Because I know that's a struggle for some people. Was it hard for you to get comfortable, or was that a thing that just came naturally for you?
I dare say it would be more up and down. So when I was doing the comedy shtick, it was easy because I knew I had a very simplistic structure when I went out there. As I started getting booked in like bigger matches or like against like much more competitive matches, that's when I sort of went back down. You could see me like wasn't really interacting too much with the crowd. Um, but I kept getting thrown in the deep end constantly to the point where I just stopped freaking out about it. Like I can't even remember what match it was, but I remember something. We had a match, and I think my opponent just forgot the whole match. So we just like we just it was a triple threat, believe it or not, which was the worst. What had actually happened was we were trying to plan the match backstage, and someone fucked up and played my intro song. They're like, "Oh, you got to go out there right now." So I had to run out there with no triple threat plan, and the other guys came out. We all started freaking out, and we just did this match, and it was very funny. It was very fun. It had a lot of like great little like high spots and stuff like that that we just called out there. And I think after that, everything became comfortable. I don't know why. It's because it's like when you get punched in the face for the first time, you realize you're not dead, like kind of thing.
It is very, very similar. Like there, you know, you never really know how you're gonna react until you're out on the stage and you got to do a thing. And being able to come off of it and have a good match and then have fun with it, kind of does give you that confidence to go and do it again. And you're like, well, I mean, it can't be worse than that triple threat, right?
Exactly. And then, even then, like the triple threat, like I wish I had footage of it because I'd be putting it up because I actually the social media clips I got from it, I was laughing at it because there was so many funny stuff. I was screaming like a girl when the big man was trying to splash me. Like I was throwing everything I could out because I was trying to be super ultra creative in like a moment.
Bishop
Like I can't
Gold.
just stand here. Yeah.
It's
The
like
thing was, I'm glad that. Oh, go ahead.
I
Sorry.
say back in the day, man, we never plotted or planned out our matches. We just get in the ring and go. I can tell you,
Yeah.
my first time walking the aisle, I tripped over the steps and then tripped over the ropes getting into the ring, and at that point, it can't get worse than that, right? Like as a performer, you can't. It's all uphill from here. You done fucked up and fell on your face while you're trying to play a badass. It's great.
Well, I went to
Oh,
your company and fell over the ropes on purpose just to get a pop out of it, so it was fine.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, my second NWA match, which I didn't upload because like I only found it like recently. It was like toward day two. I tried to do that thing where you jump on the corner of the ropes and do the arms up. I slipped on the way up, and it's like,
You know, we have seen more slips on the ring intros than I think we've seen in matches. It's crazy.
I almost want to
yeah,
put a
100%.
I want to put a blooper reel together of every time people slip and put it out there and tag them. Say, here you go. This is just for comedy purposes only. Uh,
100. But just quickly, back on that triple threat too. The reason I was trying to say that, to show sort of like the climax of just that comfortability was, you guys saw my Ace Austin match,
Mhm.
like, and how much that had in it. So me and Austin, we spoke briefly throughout. Like we did speak about what we wanted to do. We're trying to find the right beats, but we actually hadn't put it all together. We did our first walkthrough of what we're going to do probably about 12 minutes before I walked out to that match. And I think even then we only went through it once. And then essentially, I think the match before us went too quick. So we didn't even get to go through it again. I just lined up to the thing, and like my mentality literally went to, if I can't remember, we'll just talk out there, or we'll fly it. I don't care. Like, what am I going to do? Stop? Like, ask
It
him
looked
to
great.
not? Yeah, thank you.
yeah, no, that we're talking about the triple threat, or we're talking about the four way.
Sorry. Oh no, this was the Ace Austin match. The triple
Yes,
threat was the one
The
that
Ace
like,
Austin, yeah, the Ace Austin man. No, the
yeah,
match was great.
yeah.
mm,
No, that was there
yeah,
was. That's something else. Like, you've been in the business for 10 years, man. You've already, you're getting the opportunities to get in there with some of the best that are touring through Australia. You mentioned Ace Austin, your GCW. You were in there with Effie, and I think there was somebody else. That match was just fucking entertaining. I don't care what anybody says about it. That was great.
Effie.
Uh, how
You
did?
mean Effie?
Yes, yeah. How did that?
Yeah,
How
the
does
Effie match.
Yeah,
That was a good match.
how does all that come
yeah.
together
I
for
love.
you?
So because I own the wrestling ring here, when they do a tour, they usually use a couple of our guys, and I usually get picked with along with like Yeet Stevens and Top Tier and stuff like that, and then we get we'll just get these random big names, like not random, but like we'll get put on the card and sporadically. But then I think the tour has been great because Queensland, where I live, has never been viewed as a big wrestling thing, but all these tour companies use the big companies from other states. So when they come with these guys and they bring like these big superstars for us to wrestle and they see us keep up, it fucking helps us because everyone now realizes, oh shit, these guys are actually on the level now.
And that's the way our perception of the Australian market has been. It's like, wait, why aren't all of these guys signed on big promote? Like, are they sleeping on them too? Because shit, that was a great show. Why why
Yeah,
isn't that what I'm watching on TV right now? Like, I could see you guys getting put. I could see a lot of companies just getting put right on TV and holding the quality.
I think the only thing that I mean, I don't think WWE ever sleeps, like WWE especially never sleeps on us because they sure as hell snatch up our girls as quick as they break out.
Fucking Delta.
Dude, I think yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just about to
yeah,
say, I think some news is about to drop about that. I saw some very interesting things going on her feed today.
yeah. So I mean, I've gotten words from sources that know people, and they've sort of said like, yeah, it's
Dude, we
happening,
don't know
but
anybody, and we've been calling it since before the WWE came to Australia a few months ago. Like, we've been calling it.
it's funny too because when I first saw her, which was like a year and a bit ago, my partner and I were saying like, okay, so she's only going to be here for like a year at best. And then when the WWE were coming, when the Elimination Chamber was announced, it was like they're going to do a tryout. They're 100% doing it because Delta's going like they're doing it because they already
That was
decide
the
who they
first
want.
name. Yeah, the first name we
Yeah,
thought of. We're like, oh, they're doing a tryout. Delta's definitely going to be there.
yeah. This is the end. This is where it happens.
Well, I think
And sure enough,
I think the Perea is not far behind. I
I think so too.
like can't say
They
anything. I
were
don't have
also
any.
involved in
Yeah.
that tryout.
Listen,
I,
listen.
I feel like
WWE
yeah,
doesn't put you on promotional videos if they don't have plans for you. Let me just say that.
100%. And actually that thing, yeah, especially my partner and I watching it was just like, well, it's you couldn't scream signed more than this now because they just shown her non-stop on there. Like there was focus.
Absolutely. I don't watch a whole lot of like pay-per-views as they're at when they're happening. That
Mm,
one I did because I wanted to see the reaction Rhea Ripley got, right? Like that was the only thing I was really interested in. I want to see this reaction.
Back in her home market.
Yes,
Hmm.
mm,
exactly. I saw that clip of the training camp, and the first person I saw was Delta. I looked over to my partner, and I almost shit a brick. I said, "Here we go." I text John, "Here we go."
Yeah.
She is on a promotional package. Like this is great for Australia. It's obviously great for her, but realistically,
mm.
it's really great for the market down there because it does put a light on you, whether you guys know it or you don't. Like it makes people want to say, what else is going on down there?
No,
Well, I know
I
that
def-
this Fringe Mania was way bigger than you guys have seen the last few. Like this, it was insane.
yeah, yeah. All numbers. If I remember correctly, like it's still going good now, but like the month or the same month as Elimination Chamber happened, the first few shows after that were selling out everywhere. Like even the smallest shows around here picked up like 100 extra people going to the shows.
That's a win.
That's yeah, it's a win. And
But
especially our school, our message bank is like filling up with people asking when's the next tryout happening. Everyone is now interested again.
that's a beautiful thing. That just means that your
Hmm.
market is going to grow and get stronger. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm sorry, we're kind of just all over the place, but this is again why we do our podcast the way we do them.
We
We don't script shit.
enjoy talking about the
We
business.
just go.
That's,
I
that's
want
all good.
I want to ask you this: in your earlier career, everybody has that moment when it clicks, and like you go from
Hmm.
wanting to be a wrestler to I I'm pretty goddamn good at this. What moment in your career did it click and you realize that there's more to this, and now you've got the full understanding of the business?
Uh, I I can't remember what. I think it was the one show before COVID, which makes it even more disappointing, actually. But I was. I was. It's funny because that quote, like, one day it will just click. I sort of got that, but I never got grasp what they were talking about until this moment happened. I was wrestling a guy, and doing moves is fine, doing stuff is fine, but it, you always get told at training, like, listen to the crowd, listen to the crowd, listen to the crowd, like that kind of thing, like work the crowd, that sort of thing. Um, I was wrestling this guy, and he kept chin locking me and chin locking me in the heats and stuff like that, trying to choke me out. And for the very first time, I could hear the crowd. I don't mean hear the crowd when they were cheering, like I could hear the levels that were going, like, here, or when they were here. And the only thing that was disappointing about it was great when it happened, because, like, holy shit, I can hear it for the first time. Was when it hit the peak, I kept trying to tell the guy, let's go home now, like, we're here. He didn't listen. But it completely woke me up, realizing, oh, there's something even deeper here that I didn't even realize. And it's like the fact I can hear it now is just, like, fucking amazing, because I'm pretty sure not everyone here can hear it at the moment.
It's like the spidey sense of wrestling. Once you get
Yeah,
there, it. And that
yeah.
was something we were known for back in the day. I mean, keep in mind, I was in the ring 20 years ago. John was in the ring 20 years ago. John had a little bit longer run than I did, but it if you once you get that moment of being able to read the room, it changes
Mm,
the entire ball game.
exactly. 100%. Like, there's a reason why you see me screaming out of my lungs, like, you went near the end of my matches. It was like, the only person who's not going to make noise is me, so I better make noise as well.
Well, and that too is like it's a piece of the character, and depending on when it's done, it could be very funny, especially when it's coming out at you, blind. I think he did it a couple times on the spotlight video, and it took me a second, and I was like, "God damn, what was that? Did he say is that him? That is him. That
Yeah,
makes it that much more funnier." John, let me
I
go.
think.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, 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 absolutely. You go ahead. I was about to throw it over to John. So, John, you take over here in a second.
One of my favorite, like, quotes about, like, the screaming was my Effie match. When I started, like, powering back up, and I was doing the double jabs, and I was doing
Mm-hmm.
that. I actually asked Effie for feedback. Oh, how was my fire and my comeback? He's like, bro, I didn't know what you were doing, but I was liking it. And I was like, I was feeling
It
it.
was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great moment of the match for sure. So you've been in for a decade. You've come up through a couple of trainers. You've figured out what you wanted to do with your character, and then you've got this click in your head where the business is making sense.
Hmm.
How does that transition to, like, at what point do you figure out what you want to plan for your future in the business? Do you just kind of ride by the seat of your pants on it, or do you have a bucket list? Do you have stuff that you want to accomplish? Where do you see yourself going in the immediate couple of years for you?
Oh, so I have no intention to be sorry. A lot of guys here will say they want to be signed, but they don't do anything about it. Whereas I'm a realistic. I'm 38 this year, and I'm probably in, like, 2 years off from 40. I don't have any intention to be signed. My goal was always to build this area up, because when I started here, it was kind of like, eh. But like, the school's a good example. You guys I think you were saying it earlier before. You guys, whatever money you guys get, you don't even use for yourselves. Like, it's similar stuff with the school. All the money we get from this training goes back into it, because I'm trying to build something here. So my
Same.
immediate goals, yeah, my immediate goals is just, I want to build this area. I don't want to be signed, but I want someone at my school to get signed, because that's how you succeed in business or building a business. It's just, if I can have the next person who gets signed come from my school, then I've done something amazing here, and then we can
Well,
do
that
more.
brings Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you get a signee to a big company, then they're like, "Well, where did that guy come from?" "Oh, he came from your school." Now you've got other people looking at like, "Oh, well, that guy got signed from there. We should go check it out." That's definitely the benchmark for a school. You want to get those signees and get those talents out there. And you were saying, go ahead.
No, 100%. Absolutely. I mean, the only goal I have realistic for myself is I want to keep wrestling on the big shows and the tour shows, but I want to go overseas. Like, I want to check the American scene. I want to check out the UK scene. I want to check those things out. I mean, that's my only thing is just dip my toes in the water and see how far I get, and then come back home.
I th-
That's amazing. I
I
love that.
I think that it's actually pretty good to hear when you lay the perspective down. Like, it's not always about being signed. I dig the
Hmm.
purpose of building up the area and making it more, because yeah, you could get snatched up tomorrow. But what about the area that you're working in now? What happens there? Does things fall apart? Do they stay together? It's almost being the glue to providing the entertainment for the respective area in general. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, that's why I was saying earlier, I respect the Bassos so much because they are the glue to their area
Hmm.
with Riot and stuff like that. Their ambition is very similar. They just want to build. They want to build something. If you're not going to be remembered for wrestling, you're going to be remembered for something you made.
And it leaves a legacy in its own right, and that's ultimately what everything's about. It's leaving something that is remembered.
100%.
100%.
John, go ahead.
I know for me, when I was in my indie run, I was involved in the office and the booking and the writing and the on air stuff. And for me, it was always my intention to instill in the guys that we brought through the school and that we brought through the show that we didn't need to get signed if we could build the product at home that would get on television. And to hear somebody that's involved as you are and has the opportunity to do that and still could get signed and isn't looking at that as the focus, I think that's great. It's a great green flag for me for the
Mm.
future of wrestling in your area. That there are people that are invested like you that want to continue to build the space and to make that better. Means that there's someone looking out for the longevity of the company, and in looking out for the longevity of the company, you know, running a school and being involved like that, have you noticed the change in, a decade ago, you'd have 30 kids come into a school and two or three of them would make it to the show. What's that look like now? Because I know that in a lot of places that ratio is completely flip-flopped and you've got a lot
Mm.
of very talented students coming in and not so many washouts. They seem to be more educated and more aware of what it takes to get there. Are you noticing that same trend?
Yeah, like I've noticed. Who's the best example I can give? We have a guy named JJ Avery and Little Mars, and like they both appeared on Pro League. Great examples. They're in their first year still. I think Mars just got in their second, but their skill level is tremendous. Like if I looked a decade ago, there's no what anyone who wrestled like them a decade ago would be considered a 10-year vet, essentially. Like just with their skill level, the way they're working the crowd and stuff like that. Like it's
What do you
ridiculous.
what do you think the driving factor behind that is? Like, is it just the access to what wrestling is now, or the availability of schools, or just the interest level? What do you think is the catalyst for that change in the industry?
It'd definitely just be like so all those things as well. But I think it's training. Like a lot of guys will train up till they're able to bump and stuff like that. But I feel, and then they'll go on shows, they'll try and learn reps. These two especially, they just keep coming to the school. Like, and the best part about it is they're both careful where they wrestle. They don't want to rush off so quickly. They want to gather as much as they can and then shoot off. And they're starting to do it now because they feel confident enough in themselves that they can hold themselves against people. I think that mentality has made a difference with especially those two. They've been able to you can throw them into matches like with like big superstars, and I would have no doubt they'll be able to carry themselves.
I wonder if it has to do with the lack of kayfabe in the industry now.
Yeah, probably. Honestly,
I was just
What's
you were talking about
kayfabe?
it, I was like, man, you're right, exactly. But I wonder what that effect really is. Is this the effect we're seeing 20 years later of the curtain being pulled back, that workers are workers and the industry is an entertainment sport? Is this what we're getting out of that? Because if this is what we're getting out of that, we should have done this 40 years ago.
I think this is definitely one of the side effects, but I feel like we still have like the other side being negative as well. Like I feel like, as we all know, wrestling is not for everyone, and sometimes I feel like the more we reveal, the more people think they can do it when they're not physically able to. Like, I mean,
40 years ago, it was a real fighter's sport. Like, you really were
yeah,
getting into the ring with a guy that could knock your fucking brains out.
yeah, no, 100%. I feel like the more people think it's like the mentality of it's fake, or this is all show and stuff like that, the more they feel like it's easier to pretend to be a wrestler. And I have no like I have no issues with guys who want to train at our school because they want to make it. I have no issues with people who want to train because they want to be a weekend warrior and not. That's it. They don't want
No,
to
those are
invest
all
anymore.
passions for the industry. Also, absolutely have a
Yeah.
place in the business.
I also feel like there's a lot of guys there, and especially we do notice at the school a bit. We do have guys who they're there, they're training. They probably think they should be on shows, but they're not grasping it because they're not passionate to it. Because they're not viewing wrestling like we view wrestling. They're just viewing it as like, all right, I'll just train and train, train, and eventually get in the shows. Not realizing you have to find your weaknesses and focus on them. You just can't just go to class. You can't not go to gym. You can't not work on yourself to be better at wrestling. It's not just come to a class and you're a wrestler. And I feel like that curtain being opened a bit sometimes tricks these guys, and they're thinking like, oh, all I need to do is go to a class and that's it, kind of thing. They feel like it's more comfortable to be pretend wrestler.
Let them continue to think that until they get in the ring, and reality will set in really fucking quickly. It takes time. It
One of
takes
my one of
effort.
my favorite warm ups on them is I'll go in there, and especially when they're in the class, and I'll be like, "All right, we're gonna do a warm up. I'm gonna show you a cardio of a big match. We're gonna do 100 burpees," and I'll just make them drop down, give 100 burpees, and then like I don't like push them till they break themselves. Like we'll stop if if on the ground and haven't gotten up yet. We stop and we just wait for them to get up, and then we go again. We go again, and the mentality is you got to push through it. And some of these guys I know don't like that. And sure enough, within a few weeks, they get it. They realize they don't want to do this because they realize the level they're going to need to do outside of the school, in the gym, especially what they need to be. And it just feels like more work to them.
It's it
It is more work.
It ain't
And it should
ballet.
be.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
It ain't ballet.
No, it's important to keep everybody in the ring safe by being good at what you do, and to keep people safe, you have to be strong enough to do this, and that takes gym time, and it takes workouts, and it takes cardio, and it takes a lot of other work, and a lot of people don't get that. But once they get involved and they see it, that realization comes around pretty quick.
Yeah, it's good to be humbled, right?
Well,
Or get humbled.
let me ask you this. Yeah, exactly. That part. So the latter. Get humbled real
Yeah.
quick. Plug the school. I didn't, all the conversations that we've had over the last several months since we caught our first pro wrestling show. I didn't know that you had purchased a school. That's not something we had talked about. Plug it. Tell us where it's at so we can make sure we get that
Yeah, so
information out.
it's located in between Brisbane City and Gold Coast in a suburb called Beenleigh. It's called 3 Count Pro Wrestling Academy. Oh, sorry. We train four times a week. our guys, our roster, I dare say, with the school are on pretty much the majority of the bigger shows around here. It's yeah, I don't want to like sound obnoxious, but like I feel like it's one of the best schools. Like it's been mentioned by PWA and MCW before, like in like
We're
posts and
getting
stuff like
those
that.
kinds of recognitions.
Yeah,
It's definitely doing what it's supposed to do.
yeah, it's great to have them on.
Make sure you send me all that information so I can get it in the video description. I want to make sure
Definitely.
that we get that out there. Um, outside of that, let me pivot real quick and get back a little bit into you and what you've done over the course of your career. Let's talk a little bit about companies that you're working with, like Pro Wrestling League. Obviously, we've discussed them. That's how we came across you. And as we saw in your spotlight, you're working with several other companies in the area. Let's talk about them for just a few minutes and what you've done for them or what you're trying to do with them.
Mm. So we'll start with I guess the furthest one that we helped. There's a company which you guys have probably seen a lot of footage of, especially with Zach Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
With Y Bay Pro Wrestling.
Yep.
And Y Bay Pro Wrestling, when we got there, so Y Bay Pro Wrestling, and they're not going to care that I say this because they're very self-admitting of it. Y Bay Pro Wrestling at one point was a joke in amongst all of us, promoters and everything like that, because they didn't know what they were doing when they opened up. They had the wrong people in their ears, the wrong people on their shows as well that would talk more than they would actually deliver, basically. And what ended up happening was I actually got invited to Y Bay because one of my mates was on the show. He was from interstate, and most of the interstate guys from different states, when they come here, I usually pick them up from the airport anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I went there. The promoter had a quick chat with me, wanted me to be on the show, and I was like, I don't know, I don't really want to. Like, I kind of like what I do at the moment, which is just pro league, and it was a company called AWA. So Y Bay. This is around the time I was starting to purchase the school. Y Bay actually, the owner after the show actually asked me like, "What do you think would make this show be better?" And at that time they had Craven on there, who's also on. I don't know if you got,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he was on Pro League. You guys would have seen him. Yeah, he was. I was actually trying to help out at the same time, and he both agree with this. Like, you need guys who are trained up from a school or something like that. So Y Bay was technically one of the first official places that guys from my school would go to as soon as they were like at that level to move on. So we basically stocked up their roster with our guys, and that's pretty much it. Like, the quality started lifting up, the presentation started lifting up. We pivot the right guys in the right positions. Like the booker, for example, is Todd Eastman. I think he called him Tom quite a few times in the videos, and that really popped me so good.
I call people "Hey you" sometimes, and it's just
Yeah.
when we're on the air and we're running our shows,
God forbid he can't get the name right anyway.
yeah, that's 90%
I mean,
of it.
it's not the crowd going Todd, like saying Todd, and it does sound like Tom anyway. I actually like Tom more anyway. I'm going to call him that when I see him.
You should. And here's why. I'm going to tell you this side story. It has nothing to do with professional wrestling. It's been a rough week. I had investors in town. This first time I was actually meeting them, and one of the guys' name was Dean. Well, I made a point every time I saw him to call him Doug, or Dan, or Don, everything but his name. And when he
Yeah.
got ready to leave, he came up and he shook my hand, and I was like, "Well, it's nice to meet you, Dean." And he was like, "I said, yeah, dude, this whole time. It's just who I am, bro. You had the easy name to play off of, and I did it for a day. So I hope you had fun with it."
It
So
was
I
for
did.
the giggles.
It was. I bet my manager, my property manager. I said, "I bet you I get away with this all day," and I did. So there we go. But to Tom, yeah, that was part of it.
I love the confidence. You definitely should do that more and more people. In fact, I'm going to probably do it to someone now at my
I was
training
about to
school.
say, dude, you should steal that
You
and
should.
do it yourself. It'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
So that was one of my sticks back in the day, man. Like, if my opponent, I would never call them by their name. I would always call them something different. And, when they would try to correct me, it was just
And
the
with a comedy
easy.
act, that fits so well anyway. I think that would be great.
I mean,
Else.
and say it with the most seriousness. Okay, listen, Jeff. I promise. I'm gonna make. Wait, my name's not
Yeah,
Jeff. John, I got you,
yeah.
man. Yeah. It's great. It's good stuff. Delivery is everything.
So you
But
out there, Rory? It's Philip.
oh, it starts with a P. I didn't even have the initial correct. I'm sorry. Let me start all over again, Sam. Let's just move forward and make things happen. That's again had nothing to do with this, but that was
Oh, I
just
love
part.
it.
It was part of who you are, part of who I am, really. So if I say, and I think John may have corrected me on stream there. He's like, I think they're maybe saying something else. I don't care. That's Tom to
Probably
me.
did.
It's
It's Tom. It's Tom to me now, so I
uh,
can't wait to see him next.
I'm glad we can make an effect in that. I'm glad that we can
uh,
help that happen. That's fabulous.
tell him
The
if he has a problem with it, he can shoot me a message at Fireside Page. I answer all my hate tweets.
nah, he'll probably
No, he can set a date and come on the show and confront him face to face.
That'll work too.
It's fine.
That'll
he's
work.
like, is he going to email you and be like, "My name's Todd, by the way, not Tom," and you're like, "I'm very sorry, Toby. It's all good."
Exactly. There you go. You just keep it
Good
rolling.
job, Thad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Over the course of
Um,
your career, you have we've talked a little bit about some of the opponents that you've been with. It's great to have that information about your training school because that again was new to me, and knowing that you've got your hands in the pie there. Back to some of these companies, so
mm,
Wide Bay. Uh, it says, isn't there an Atomic down there? Aren't isn't is that a
yeah, I was gonna.
okay?
Yeah, Atomic was the next one I was gonna say. So Atomic is in Toowoomba, which is like it's a bit of a rural town, which is my fucking jam, honestly, because
Right.
so is Y Bay, but like they're much more town folk at this place, and the reason I say that is because I love wrestling in front of rural towns because they're the easiest crowd to work because they don't care about an indie match, they just want to see wrestling, they just want to be entertained, they just want to see characters. Atomic, we started out, the first show was like huge numbers, great production. And the best part is, which I keep stressing to everyone on the roster, like, don't overplan your matches, guys. This is going to be the easiest fucking show we've ever done. And then, sure enough, I've wrestled at that company for about a year. They made me the champ this year for some reason.
Jesus Christ, what were they
Even,
thinking? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I would know it's funny because like I was wrestling a character who thought he was an MMA fighter and would ask people to take a urine test before they fight him, and he had a urine jar with like filled with fake urine, and but we had a 3 match series where I splashed him with his own urine in the first match, and then he splashed me with urine in his second match. Or he drank it and spat it at me, which was even good. And
Uh,
then and then he tried to do it again in the third match. I did the Stone Cold Stunner where boom, and he shot the piss up in the air. It was gross. Um, Complete comedic match. Crowd fucking loved it. And then I think it was like next show, like, oh yeah, you're facing the guy for the belt. I'm like, oh, perfect. Actually, that's a good idea because I'm just doing these World Series tours, so the opponent can take the rub when I lose. It's like, oh, you're not losing. It's fucking made no sense to me. But it's funny because that's the type of show where you can chaotically book like that.
nice. And then obviously we know Pro Wrestling Australia. So with these different companies that you're working with and you're between your training school as well. First of all, let me ask you this completely side note. Have you ever thought
Yeah.
about putting a training show together with some of your students and putting it out on YouTube?
We have thought about it. We looked at the statistics of it. So our zoning laws don't allow us to run shows at the school. However, we realized we could probably organize something where we have our trainees wrestle and then we could just have friends and family there as long as no one's paying for a ticket or anything like that. The problem is it's just time at the moment. So most of our guys who are on a roster, they're just wrestling different shows all over Queensland. And I think I think next 2 weeks are the only, no, next weekend's like the first weekend in like 6 weeks that we have off. And I don't think I'm not even sure if everyone's still available. So at the moment, we're trying to organize, looking for a time frame where it's like, okay, this date's free. from everyone. Let's put something together and like experiment and see if we can make that like a school show. But it wouldn't be a public one. It would be friends and family can surround, like sit in the chairs and stuff like that, and we'll just have a wrestling show.
Yeah, for sure. But you can film it though. Like you can put it up on the old internet. And the only reason I ask that is because, like I said, we've seen one other student show, and it was from Riot.
Two. They were both great.
I would love to see some more student shows from the reputable training facilities down there if they are doing them, because it would be good to see the next crop of Australian wrestlers that are going to be coming onto the scene. Again, once you make fans in wrestling, like they're usually ride or die. And John and I, as long as we do our programming, we'll continue to be looking hard at the Australian market. So it would be, or if you know people who would be doing some training shows that put them out there, we'd love to see them. Because I think that's the next logical step for us is what's the next, who's the next evolution.
If you get a chance, check out Mayhem Pro Wrestling in Melbourne. Mayhem Pro. They actually are a training school company, but they do the training matches as well. And all their shows is they just made a show just so their students had somewhere to wrestle, basically to get reps.
That's great.
It's about yeah, and a lot of guys, a lot of big names in Melbourne have come from that school or those shows and are like getting on your big MCWs and shit like that now.
Melbourne Pro is starting to carve a niche out in their area. Yeah, they've got something going on down there. For sure.
So,
Yeah.
two things. First, we got a whole hour into this episode before our guest dropped the fuck word. So I think that's great. No, it's everybody asks, can I, was this, can you cuss? Well, yeah, because we're not made for children. So I always wait to see how long it takes someone drops the major words other than the typical ass and blah, 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 blah. So we got our first F-bomb an hour in, and I cannot believe that we also made it an hour in and we have not talked about the bionic elbow.
I mean, we brought it up, but it was in the early years when we were talking about repertoires and movesets.
Yeah, well, so the bionic elbow, it actually was on an Atomic show where I first debuted it. I was wrestling in a tag match, and we we're just going through the tag structure and psychology. I was like, all right, I'll come in, house on fire, and my opponent said he had like a bad back, essentially. So he's like, I can't bump too much. I'm like, that's okay. I'll do the bionic elbow. I've always wanted to try it. Let's try it. And I did I would say the shittiest bionic elbow, because I obviously didn't know the movement. I also I was always told. I noticed John said it on the spotlight. It's weird seeing someone punch with their left.
The proclivity to a left-handed strike is very strange because most trades are done right side. And to see you guys do them left side is jarring to me. I don't know if that's to everyone, but to me it goes counterproductive to all of my training.
No, I agree because I always thought it was from the right as well. But the head trainer at my school was like, no, he was trying to explain from what he learned in the UK. He's like, you go left, boom, right. So I tried it out for the first time in this match, and it was jarring. It was just awkward.
I mean, he's not wrong. The punches, the rabbit punches that lead up to Dusty's bionic elbow are absolutely lefts. But to see, like, nobody really does that series, and to see it happen, like, Paige knows, he looks for it all the time. How often do you see someone use that series as a move? It isn't very common. So now to see it when it's not Dusty is like, oh, that seems weird. It's not wrong. It just, wow, the lefts are jarring. You're right.
Yeah. The thing was, when I was doing it, but even though it wasn't my best one, as I was doing it, I noticed the crowd were like, oh. As soon as I hit it, I was pretty fucking excited about it, but I remember just being like at the back, like that worked the crowd way easier than I thought it was going to. And then,
dude, those legends, man, The
Yeah.
move itself is iconic, and when you pull off the whole series like that, they know what's coming. They know what they're supposed to do. The crowd gets the in to the interaction.
Mm-hmm.
It builds on the fan investment.
Yeah, 100. Because like I do the airplane, and I know everyone's gonna make noise when I hit that, but I never, for some reason, never clicked that maybe the bionic elbow or like something of that nature should be my repertoire of my comeback. And I think after that show, realizing like that just helps get the crowd to engage more. I scrapped my whole entire comeback sequence and just became the dusty jabs and elbows.
I
And also, I love doing it because I'm a big fan.
I know. I'm right there with you, man. I there are two things that'll always pop me if I'm watching anything, and that's the Dusty Bionic Elbow series, and if I see a flare flop. If
And a
that,
flare flop. I was about to say it had to be
if
those two things.
if I and I'll tell you, I'm a very hard critiquer on a flare flop. If you do a flare flop and it's terrible, I'm going to tell you it's terrible. Don't do it again. Like it's just disrespectful to Flair for you to do a flare flop. I've only seen it done horribly 3 or 4 times, but most people get it. I used to flare flop. That was my
Yeah,
callback back in the day, and it was you got to commit. You got to eat.
yeah.
You got to eat your face, man. Like your face is gonna eat the mat. You might as well just deal with it. If you're gonna flop on the floor, you flop on a pad because it's not gonna end well. Uh,
It's one arm down, one arm up, face to the side.
The face
it-
right into the ground. Yep.
Yeah,
and just down you
yeah,
go. Uh,
yeah, 100%.
over the course of your career, give me some of your your notable matches, things that for you that maybe going in you weren't really excited about, but once you got there and you got in the ring, whatever the dynamics were, changed the perspective and you had a lot of fun with it.
Um, I
Outside of the
I got
triple threat.
outside. Yeah, I mean that would have been the perfect answer, wouldn't it? Um, so I'm trying to remember what year it was, but it was I wrestled it's like another face. I was a baby face, he was a baby face, and I always thought, oh, this is going to be hard because I always felt like people get more behind me when there's immediate danger. So I was not looking forward to this match. Um, when I walked out to the ring, my mood completely changed because you know that I think they used to do it with Bailey, but that hey baby, ooh
Mm-hmm.
ah, everyone, like, the whole crowd in sync sung that with instead of baby was Bobby, and
Oh,
it went on for fucking ages. So like by the time we were doing like more in the middle of the match, I was just like, this is fucking funny, eh? I'm just gonna like, and then they were like, because they obviously sung it and then they enjoyed themselves, they will always think everything we did, they just like, oh, like that kind of stuff.
so
And then I was like, oh, yeah.
they're into it, man. Go ahead, John. I didn't mean to stuff on you.
No, you're fine. I was curious too. I was like, there are plenty of moments in everybody's career when they're in there and they're like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And a lot of times we don't have to do anything. A lot of times we just have to get in touch with that crowd aspect and really let them take us where we're headed. And I think that's something that a lot of guys kind of miss early on, and it takes a lot of experience to get to that point. And maybe not just let the crowd get there, but to notice what's going on and to be able to manipulate that interaction and to build on it. And with your character, the comedy aspect is a real easy way for them to get involved because they're always looking for the next gag. So knowing early on that you were relying on the comedy bit to get over with the crowd and not relying so much on your skill. You said earlier that as your skill evolved, you were relying less and less on the comedy part. What was your it clicks moment that you needed that to be a part of your character and you started to bring it back in? because you said there was a time where you were really not focused on that, but you've come back to that obviously. What part of that for you is the ticket? Why did you decide to do that part and stay that course?
Oh, well, I mean the seriousness or the comedy? Sorry.
The comedy part, like you were going for the serious to get through the bigger matches that were nervous for you, but as you got more comfortable, you said that you
Mm.
went back to that comedy aspect. What was it about that that really drove you back into that line?
Honestly, when I was like probably the first since COVID, well, we came back from COVID. Pro Wrestling League show. I was trying to be a bit more serious. I had this match, and the promoter pulled me up, and he said, "You realize you were not engaged in the crowd at all?" And like, what do you mean? I was like, "What do you mean? Like, you just there's no character to you now." And he's like, I felt like you were just another dude out there." And I didn't realize he liked the comedy stuff because it was just doing what I was told all the time. And he gave me a big explanation of it, which was I have probably 20 guys on this show, and if you look at all of them, only a few stand out. You were one of the ones that stood out by being funny, by being a little bit comedic. It's like, I need you to I need you to stop trying to be serious. I don't care if you wrestle serious, but I need you to be still funny. Please don't give up on that character. And then he was right. Like after every show after that, I still try to be just like a goofball that can fight, basically.
No, I think it's perfect for your character, and the I think it does really build on that crowd
Mm-hmm.
interaction. And when you said that you were kind of pulling away from that, I was like, God, I'm glad he didn't, because
Mm.
that's the niche part of your character that makes you unique and makes you do stand out. And that's why I was curious. I was like,
And
why did you
mind
want to
you,
pull away from that, and
this
how
is
do you? Yeah,
this is coming from a guy who doesn't like comedy
I
wrestling.
don't like parody characters. I don't. I generally am. I'm a very serious worker myself. I
Mm.
am that guy that doesn't do the comedy bit. I'm very assholish in the ring. I want to cut you off and do damage and hurt you.
Mm.
And to see comedy characters is a lot of times is kind of a slap in the face to me, because it a lot of times I feel like it pulls away from the sanctity of the business. But you don't make me feel that way, and I appreciate that your comedy is not parody as much as it is just part of your character, and people that are able to pull that off are a jewel.
Yeah. I know. I think I sort of realized what you're saying too, because yeah, hate, I love comedy wrestling, but I don't like comedy for the sake of comedy. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, you still
Like,
have to be able to go out there and really do work. I want to see you still wrestle. Yeah, it's funny, but I want to see you do wrestling. And I think it's one of the reasons that out of all the parody characters that we've seen, like Combat Wombat is probably one of my favorites, because his move set is limited. He's getting
mm,
on in age, but he still goes out there and really connects to the fans, and he does do great work with the work that he does, and he makes it really entertaining to watch his matches. And you have that same trait about you, where you're not just doing the comedy just to be funny. It's part of what your character does. And how how do you make that balance work? Because I think there are a lot of guys out there that probably want to do that same thing and don't know how to make it click, but you are definitely in there.
I would. So my inspiration for my character, especially, is you guys watch Dragon Ball Z or watch Dragon Ball Z
Yep.
or anything like that?
He
It's just
doesn't, but I
Goku.
do.
Yeah, it's just Goku, this serious fighter that's a goof. It's a fucking goofball. So I watched so much Dragon Ball Z when I was like a kid. I used to love love the series. But watching it was like you're watching the main character he's essentially an idiot. But when
Absolutely. The only thing
yeah,
he takes serious is gym day and food time.
yeah, food time and stuff like that. When he's fighting, Goku has that thing where he's like, like dumbfounded and stuff like that. But then like we'll have an enemy in front of him, and you see that switch where he just goes into
He's
like
like,
fight
"Oh, it's
mode.
time to go on. Here we
Yeah,
go."
or it's not like it's like I wouldn't say cockiness, but it's just he's not. It's sort of slightly cocky. It's the confidence he switches on his face. Well, he's just being an idiot the whole fucking episode, and then all of a sudden just like switched into this like kind of thing, like ready to fucking fuck shit up,
An
basically.
absolute predator. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's generally a goofball, but he's got a switch in his head that turns him into predator mode 100%.
yeah, and I think that's what a lot of guys miss is like you can't you can't just do something really stupidly funny and then do like a big sequence. You need to identify the crowd that you've switched, that you've had this moment of just like, no, fuck this shit. I'm gonna punch him in the fucking head, kind of thing. There's more F bombs, by the way.
Yes! Makes me happy. I was counting them. I was like, we just got 3. We got 3 in the span of 30 seconds.
Fuck yeah.
No, I definitely appreciate the balance that you bring to it. And like he said, I am the last motherfucker that watches parody wrestling and enjoys it. But there are some of you guys out there, and you are definitely one of them, that has that great balance of, oh yeah, that was a funny moment, but now we're back to the wrestling match. And it does very well. So I appreciate that about what you've done with your work, and that you didn't lose that aspect is so happy for me anyway.
Oh, thanks, man. No, I appreciate it. Like, honestly, I'm glad I didn't like stop doing it because I had a few people telling me to stop doing it, but I had the right people,
They're
like I said, that
idiots.
promoter. Yeah, yeah. I had the
They're
right
idiots. I don't
promoter.
know who it was. It could have been somebody important, but that was a horrible call.
They're not around anymore. I guess that's
Exactly,
more the
because they're
reason.
idiots.
Yeah.
You wonder why.
Over the next, let me ask you this: where do you see yourself over the next 5 years in the business? You've been in it for 10. We know, and I feel like this is a probably not the best question to ask because I already feel like the answer is going to be running the training school and continuing to grow the product in the area. But are there?
Dabbling in the overseas market.
Yeah, is there anyone out there like on the independent scene, or maybe somebody if they're signed? Anybody out there? What's your dream match bucket list look like? Who are some names that you want to get in there with?
Definitely Mike Bailey. Only because I met him and he's the sweetest fucking person I've ever met. Like just a genuine nice person.
I wonder about your intellect when you tell me you want to get into the match with Mike Bailey.
Oh, trust me. Like I know what's coming. I just
Okay, as long as you're aware that the Feet of Fury will be furious.
I'm just gonna like get more beefy so I have more padding for it. You know what I mean?
There you
That's
go.
the plan.
Yeah. But wrestle him. I would love to wrestle in Effie. I need to wrestle Effie again. I want to do a singles match with him because I just think he was just the funnest person to wrestle, and I fucking enjoyed it. I would wrestle Kylie Ray only because Kylie Ray had probably what is now my favorite match in wrestling in all time at the moment. She wrestled what's his name? The Eager Robert Anthony.
Yeah, not that long ago. Yeah.
Yeah, in that like title match, and I literally I send this match to people when they talk about storytelling, telling wrestling. Like, you need to watch this. It's the most fucking underdog shit you'll ever see in your life. Harley Ray. Fuck. See, now there's because there's a list of fucking like people I have to go through.
It's all right. I don't, just gotta put you on the spot.
Don't worry about missing anyone, guys out there. If you're sad he didn't name you, we put him on the spot. He didn't have planning for this, so don't be too mad.
Yeah, send your hate tweets to @Fireside Page, and I'll answer them.
I would wrestle Jacob Fatu, knowing where that's going to lead me, but I would fucking do it. Only because
he just got snatched. Rumor has it he signed.
I know.
Yep.
The reason I wrestle him too is because I love looking like an underdog, and I love having that fighting spirit, fighting comeback. All I want is one photo of me doing it with some big fucking monster behind me.
That'd be great. Let me ask you. I got one last question for you on my side of the coin. Because again, we say wrestling brings people together, and it truly does in some form or fashion. Who should we be watching? If you had a
Who should
who should
from
we
around here?
And
anywhere, if they're out there in a ring somewhere and you think that we've never seen them before, or you think that they deserve a bigger spotlight, who are you watching when you're watching clips?
Oh, that's nice. I
He's
watched
like, let
too
me go
much
right to
wrestling.
my thing. Hold on.
Yeah, pretty much. I watched too much wrestling.
no such thing.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's
Correct.
true. Oh my god, who would I be saying? Like, I would definitely would say, like, locally on our scene at the moment. Oh, I got two answers. This locally would be Little Mars or Outback Adam.
Outback Adam is on the
Definitely on our
list.
list.
Yeah,
I'd
100%.
would love to chat with him at some point. I think his character's
Yeah,
fucking
no,
great.
he's a spitfire. I love his character work.
The one I would def say, only because I feel like he's only just grasping his potential at the moment, is, and because he's a lovely person to wrestle, Kerry Morton Jr.
Yep.
Oh my god, because he is just I think our match was mainly, it wasn't even like a plan. Like we just told each other what our beats were. We went out there and wrestled, and that fucking kid gets it, and he's super duper young.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's from a legendary family, so that helps as well.
I'm
I
sure.
absolutely. Who else? Who else is out there that we should be taking a look at?
Hammerstone. Oh wait, you mean guys who aren't signed? Oh,
Dude,
In general, because
Hammerstone is on my radar for sure. Fist bump on it.
yeah,
yeah, sweet.
I ask you this
Yeah,
because what we do
yeah, guys.
is, and if there's anybody else you think of, feel free to chime in and answer. We do this because I with the names that you give me on people who we should be watching, like part of what we do is just watch shit. So I go and find matches with these guys. So you don't open the door for people that I may or may not have seen. You're also putting when I see if I say give me 4 or 5 names, or you give me 5 names, well you're giving me 10 people and don't even know it
Because we're gonna
because
see
they
the guy
have,
across the ring from him too.
and
Yes,
that's what keeps us doing what we're doing is because there's
so
always people.
that's a really good idea.
It's a way for us to get introduced to other talents around the world, such as yourself. This all happens the same way, and we take a lot of pride in being able to be a realistic voice on independent wrestling to a degree, and to be able to
Realistic
get to
voices in wrestling are a thing.
yeah, and to be as getting connected to the industry again, right? In some form or fashion. You said earlier, wrestling's not for everybody, but there's a place in wrestling for everybody. You just have to find your niche. Yours,
Absolutely.
yours is being very entertaining inside the ring. Usually, I know when I turn on a Bobby Bishop match, I'm going to see a couple of things, and I'm going that I want to see, especially the bionic elbow. It's going to happen, and I usually have my mark out moment for it. Um, I truly am very appreciative of what you guys are doing down there. It really is good
Thank you.
stuff. And I'm gonna shoot it over to John because I know that he's probably got 1 or 2 more questions for you, and then we'll tie a bow
I
on this.
do. I have one big one actually, and I ask everybody this when they come on the show because I'm interested in the way that people look at the industry and where we're headed with it. In your opinion, what is our biggest, and for someone in your position too, you're heading a school, you're in the business, you have an industry, like you've got your finger in it. What is our biggest opportunity, not just from a Fedhead's perspective, but as a fan, as a worker, as a promoter, anyone involved? What's our opportunity here to continue this build for the indie scene into the territory days that we're headed into? And how can we ensure that it does that?
Honestly, no one here has done it yet. Which I think will be game changing for us. But even like just normal indies, what was it like? Georgia wrestling back in the day. What was it? It was the biggest territory indie promotion because
They're
they
doing
had
it
cable.
again.
Yeah, and they had, yeah. I
Like
heard actually.
currently, Georgia is doing that. They have circuits and companies that are trying to work together and do big shows like that. They're doing it again.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
No, I did see you guys mention in the last one. I actually was meant to go check it out. But like they had cable TV, like what was it? They were like a part on the cable TV network or something like that. Like, and that's what
Hmm.
got them a big, strong place. I feel like the indie promotions. I know we rely on Fight TV, the IWTV apps, and stuff like that. I think John just froze again. There he is. But I feel like we've done this apps and it's been good to get exposure, but I feel like the next thing is cable TV again or something for those promotions to
Streaming
start.
services, sir.
Yeah, streams. The Netflix thing that WWE is about to do is going to game change fucking everything, and I mean everything. You'll see a grand change in the whole wrestling dynamic in terms of streaming services.
Yep, and I think that Netflix made a play on that because there was rumors about AEW going over to HBO Max. That's what I think. That's where I think all that came from. But I do think you're correct. I do think that that is a game changer. What's left to be seen on that is how does it, how are they going to judge their levels of success, right? Like, is it just who you're packing in the buildings and merchandise? Because now this takes ratings out of the question. You can,
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
Now, yeah, it removes ratings from the equation altogether. And even now, you see on Twitter that everybody bitching about ratings numbers or oh, their rating numbers are down. Everybody in the comment section like that doesn't even matter. Why do you care? We watch it all on a streaming service now, and none of those numbers are consolidated.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing too. The streaming services right now, like Netflix will do that WWE deal, and I'm not sure how they're going to work it out where it's a successful or progressive for it. When it works out, so there's a great chance it's just
Advertising
going to
money.
work. Yeah,
They don't need
100%.
to give a damn about anything but advertising money. They're going to have commercials on it, just like TV does. They're going to get paid billions of dollars from the advertisers, and they're not going to care.
Yeah, 100% The what that's actually going to change, but is like here's a good example. We don't have Peacock or anything. You know what I mean? Like those our streaming services besides Netflix is a bit different. The way I looked at it was if WWE gets on there and is successful and stuff like that, other streaming services maybe a sub side a sub successful sort of streaming service, and maybe it's just located for one country. Might actually look at the local scene and be like, if we had our own wrestling show, we might get more people because WWE is doing fucking bangers on this fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then based on that, same thing happens in other countries. They start looking at wrestling products. Like maybe we put this on a streaming service, see if it works because it's wrestling. People might actually just watch it for the sake of the name, and if it delivers, it could be a success. It could very well be that a game changes everything.
I think that's an interesting perspective to take because kind of, we consume everything differently now. Think about 20 years ago to now, and then if this is the next logical step, who knows?
Yeah, I can't even tell you the last time I watched a regular TV show. I think it was Game of Thrones.
Very possible.
I only watched Fallout recently, and I think The Boys was the one before that. My digesting of TV shows is modern TV shows is definitely rare these days.
Yep, absolutely. There's a whole lot out there. There's just I would rather watch wrestling. That's just me though. I'd rather cut on something and watch that.
That's pretty much what the biggest problem is now I have access to Seinfeld, fucking Just Shoot Me, and all the other shows plus wrestling on this thing.
Yes, sir.
You should watch this show. Yeah.
Bobby, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate your time, man. This has been fun. It's been a great chat. Definitely leaving the door open for a return if you're interested. We had an impromptu live stream with Zach the other night. If you're ever available and want to hop on a stream with us, man, I will hop on and watch some old school Dusty with you any day of the week.
Oh yeah, that'd be fucking great.
Yeah,
I'm throwing epic now.
You let me know. We'll work it out for sure. Do you got anything you want to say to the peoples before we close it out?
Actually, yeah, I remember one name. Please go check out Jack Bonza. He's one of my mates. He's really cool.
Jeff Bonza. Okay.
Jack Bonza.
Jack Bonza.
You said
Yeah.
Jared Bonza?
Joe Bonza. I thought he said Jeremy. Was it?
No, like I said, please check out me on my socials up here. I'm up there, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
there we are, right there. Other than that, like guys, no, honestly, thank you for having me on. I love doing these sort of things. I love it when it's like not negative and trying to like talk shit on people. Like I just love talking about wrestling.
We're all about promoting the business and the industry and keeping it afloat. That's what our goal is. If we don't have you guys doing things for us to watch, we don't have content to take in, and we don't have anything to hand our fans. The only good thing for us is to build the industry wherever we can.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, what we should just be in here talking about what we love, wrestling.
Yep. Speaking of building the industry, as Bobby said, right above him at the Bobby Bishop on X, over on Instagram, undeniable Bobby Bishop. The easiest way to support professional wrestling, especially on the independent circuit, is to head on over to their socials and like their socials and subscribe to their social medias, guys. This is super simple. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And even if you can't afford a T-shirt, maybe you know somebody who can. But John will tell you more about that, and we'll get out of here. John, handle it.
That's right, guys. The easiest way to support these guys independently is to buy some merch, buy a ticket, go to a show, support them live. If you can't do that, your friend maybe can. And if they don't know about them, you can share their info by joining all those socials and sharing their info out. It is the freest way to make sure that indies like these stay around for as long as we can. And we've got great content to consume on our internet binges. Guys, just like ours. But down below, you'll find all the links. Get those savage elbows in there. Get that ding bell so you never miss a beat of what we've got going on behind the curtain. We've always got new guests, new shows, new themes, and new stuff coming down the pipeline, guys. You know this. You get in behind the curtain, you find early drops and all kinds of releases that we've dropped in there on now 2 channels. If you don't know, maybe you can. But you guys, as always, it's been a pleasure. We love each and every one of your faces, and we'll see you again next time.